Marco!
Polo! How's it going, Jacob?
I'm amazing. How about you?
I'm doing good. I hope everybody else is doing pretty good today as well. Yeah, life's just still plugging along, but not a lot's happening in life anymore. At least I don't feel like. What about for you?
Yeah, I feel like the world's just kind of cruising through these next few weeks. Nothing, nothing spectacular, nothing really bad has happened. It's just kind of been even. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it just seems really quiet now. Now it's just like, I don't know, maybe not everybody's life's quiet, but man, mine's just been like, uh, yeah, don't interact with a ton of people necessarily. Don't go a lot of places, obviously, but
Nope. Kind of spend time with my family and do homework.
yeah,
Sleep, I guess.
I know. I've spent more time in my bed in the last week and a half than I think I have, honestly, in the 3 years prior, maybe 5 years prior.
Dude, I got 12 hours of sleep on Sunday. I don't know how I did it, but I got 12 hours of sleep.
That's impressive. I I still think I've gotten much more. I think maybe the most sleep I've gotten in one night now is 9 hours, which is still a lot for what I usually get. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's a different way of life. I'm super
truly
excited.
is.
I'm super excited for the first public gathering we can have again.
Thought he was gonna throw like the biggest party in the entire world.
I know. I thought about inviting a few friends over, and then I realized I don't want that to be the reason I get in trouble with the law. There's better things to do in life to get in trouble with the law than have more than 10 people over at your house.
Right.
But glad to hear you're doing good though, Jacob.
Yeah, you
And
too.
I feel like we had a really good article today to discuss.
The article is really good. She described her experience in a very fabulous way that really kind of struck home. Kind of made me think about like, huh, what can I do different?
Yeah. And for those of you who don't have the article in front of them, we're talking about an article published in the New York Times called When Depression is Like Cancer by Jill Helper. And it was published late 2019, the end of 2019. So it's still pretty recent. And it was just really, really good. I mean, it was sad. There were some sad moments, obviously, because the lady's talking about her husband who struggled with depression and ultimately ended up dying due to depression and suicide. But she just touched on a lot of good points, I thought.
Yeah, I think I'll kind of like kick us off real quick.
Yeah.
Um, I really enjoyed the very beginning where she talks about her husband and a little bit of his backstory. Her husband, before they were married, he was married to another woman and they got a divorce. And because of that divorce, the husband went through a lot of depression, a lot of tough challenges, and it got so bad that he even tried to take his life. Um,
Uh,
and it was the next day he woke up um, and he realized what he needed to do, and he went and got help. He went to a psychiatrist and he got the help that he needed. And I thought that was like really amazing to have that um, determination, to have that courage to realize that he has a problem or that he's struggling and to go get help. That's the first thing that like kicked me and surprised me.
yeah. I think that's huge because obviously, as we've talked about and we'll always continue to talk about, when helping people with depression or when you have depression and getting help, it takes more than just one person. Obviously, you can't just have the person who's not struggling with depression resolve all the issues, because they can't. It's impossible. And the person who's struggling with depression themselves, obviously, they can't just do it all by themselves either. But it does take action, and it's really cool, super cool, I think, actually, that he takes that effort. Obviously, not an easy step. It's it's a big step, a big thing to do, but I think it shows a lot of courage, for sure, and a lot of
Right.
determination that, like, really, in the end, he wanted to succeed. He wanted to keep going.
And I think it shows the courage because I know in my life I struggled to accept help. It's something that I feel a lot of us struggle with. And so for him to realize that he needs it and to go and get it is huge.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of like an example for me of, hey, maybe I should accept help more often and the challenges that I face.
yeah. I know for a really long time, I always had the mentality as like, I don't need to accept help. That's, I think more the mentality was just that if I was accepting help, I was not,
Weak.
I was weak, and I was putting other people in a bad position. But then I always remember, when I give help to people, I enjoy it. I love it. I feel better. And I'm definitely not perfect, but I've definitely tried in the recent year or so to, anytime somebody offers help in any way, I tried to accept it. And I think the guy in this story, or not the story, this article that we're talking about, I think his way of repaying was saying, I'll keep trying and I will keep going forward. And he definitely shows that he does that. Um, in fact, one of the coolest things that I think of after what you've talked about is, he ends up getting married to a second wife, the one who's writing this article. And um, she talks in quite a bit of detail about how they work together to, um, work with therapists and psychiatrists, both individually and as a couple, just to help him. And as a result, I don't know, I think that really shows, to me, that really shows on his end the things he was willing to give and to try. Because that's obviously, I mean, it's hard enough just to say, hey, I'm going to ask for help and check in, but it requires even more help, I think, for that, or more courage to do that.
Right. Yeah, and I like how they work as a team. They know the problem and they work together. I feel like that's one of the biggest things in any challenge that we face with, not with just depression, but any challenge. You have to work together with other people. An example that I have of like a couple working together is probably my uncle and my aunt, um, who live out in Provo. This winter, I had the opportunity to observe them and see how they work together as a couple. And it's been really interesting because they each have their own differences, but they know the problem within the family and they discuss together when they're alone on different ways that they can solve it. Um, and it really shows when they're with other people because then they know how to react. They know, hey, this is the problem. I know what my wife, my husband's gonna think, so let's do this because I know that he or she will support me. And so I think that's a huge impact. If you have a spouse, work with them. And if you don't, find a friend, find a family member, find even a doctor, some medical professional that can be that person to help you in that time or, in any challenge.
Yeah. I know in my life, I mean, it's not a perfect example, but I know I've been able to find kind of a unique way to be able to create that partnership with a specific friend who struggles with depression. Um, and he's a great person. He has a lot of great qualities and quite a few talents, but depression, unfortunately, at the same time, has just crippled him in many ways of being what you'd maybe consider being able to do normal things, going to social events and gatherings or anything, like it's just extremely hard. But I found that I personally can work with him in that he'll text me or call me, and I of course always try to respond, but if I don't answer, I always make sure to call him back, versus other people where they'll like leave a message, or they'll like call and I'll maybe like wait quite a while to call him back because I'm like, oh, it's probably not too important. And that's not to say that like, hey, I don't care about those other friends, I just know they're not generally what they're calling for. I can wait for quite a while. But this other friend, I'll call back as soon as I can, just because I know, hey, he doesn't get to interact with many people, and he does. I'm one of the few, and so I'll call back as quick as I can, just so he has the opportunity to talk when he wants to talk. And then the second way is he has a really dark sense of humor, and I kind of enjoy it, but at the same time, it is definitely very dark. And I know a lot of people have called him out on it, and they're always like, hey, you should be more positive and stuff. But for him, mentally, things are so bad that this dark sense of humor is his way of escaping for a minute. And so I'll just let him go. I'll just, like, if he gets on like dark jokes and stuff, I know to just kind of like let him. He gets on a little bit of a tangent almost. So I just let him write them out, to say them all, and um, I just every once in a while I kind of make a joke back and forth with him. I try not to get too dark myself, but like just show that, hey, like I'm okay with listening to you, basically, because I know that you need some kind of partnership or something, and I obviously can't offer the same kind of, I can't do what this man and woman did in their relationship as a couple, where they could go to therapy and stuff together. I can't really do that with this friend, but I can be understanding of the things that help you and just be okay with it and not make you feel like even more trash because you're trying to find a way of escaping this awful, miserable darkness that you're just surrounded in.
Right. It's definitely nice to have somebody there for you. It's definitely like a great way to know that somebody's got your back. And so I think if we can form those relationships, no matter what it be, it could definitely help all of us to feel that joy of life, you know.
Yeah. I think I don't know, it's just really, it's really special to see this relationship between this wife that's writing it and her husband, and just how much she definitely cares about him. I mean, as always, I'd always recommend that people go and check out this article. We'll have it linked below, but it's it's good. It's cool to see somebody that was willing to work so much with somebody that was struggling. Obviously, we all have our different struggles, and um, I think it was good that she related it in a sense to cancer in this article. I think we maybe mentioned that just a little bit at the beginning, but I think that was good that she, obviously depression and cancer are totally different, or are different diseases or things, and she even recognizes that. But she says, hey, depression can take a toll on a human being just like cancer can, and it is definitely a process. And if somebody's struggling really majorly with it, it is a lifetime struggle. It's something that you're going to have to deal with, but it is possible to deal with it. I mean, after this guy struggles like he does and nearly commits suicide, but then gets help, he makes it another 20 years, and he has kids with this woman, and it's cool. It's 20 years of some great things that happened in his life, um, even though there was that struggle and that battle between him and depression.
Right. But I love what she says in, I think it's the second to last paragraph right here, talking a little bit more about what you just said. Just as cancer invades the body, depression invades the psyche, and just as the surviving family members of patients with incurable cancers know that they were powerless to stop the progression of disease, so are the survivors of a person with depression who dies by suicide. But then, so she ends it. She goes on with the last paragraph that says that basically praising the husband saying that he was brilliant, that he was sensitive, that he was a gentle soul. Um, just because he has a weakness doesn't mean that he's any less than anybody else. You know, because of his challenges with depression, he was able to form a relationship with his wife or with his kids that maybe some of us could never understand or even build ourselves. But we as a body have to be willing to reach back out to help those in need.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's something. It shows that obviously this woman deeply cared about her husband, and it really is the way she talks about him. There's the only way you can really come to talk about a person that way is if you know them really well and if you've gone through struggles with them. And I think it's a blessing and a beautiful thing that she has there that we can all have in our lives. And there's people around all around us that struggle, all kinds of different struggles, and we can't solve all of them, but we can find somebody with some struggle that we can help, and we can form just as deep and special of a relationship that when it comes to the end of it, whenever that is, we can look back and say, hey, it was a dang good relationship and I'm super grateful for it. You know, I hurt because I miss him, but it was a dang good relationship.
Right. And I think that's what we should strive for in life, because we know that death is going to come. We know that things are going to end, but it's the journey that really matters. You know, it's not the destination.
Yeah. Yep. That's definitely true. And on that note, we're going to switch over to the looking for good in our life because speaking of journeying, well, we have two different things that we want to talk about, some of the good stuff happening in life. And one of them is a journey or a bit of a walk, I guess. I don't really know what to call it. But a good little, we won't read it, but a good little article that we found was about a man who uses his flying drone to walk his dog during the COVID-19 lockdowns. And I thought, wow, look at him making great things happen out of such an awful situation and making a journey. You know, I'm sure his dog's grateful to get out of the house. So
It
I
is
think that's
living by
cool.
the government laws, staying inside.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes some of the most creative, or not sometimes, I feel like almost always the most creative things come from us having to be restricted by certain rules and laws and finding ways to get around them legally, of course, but finding ways to get around them. But I think the other good news, or not, I know the other good news that we want to talk about too is just some of the good stuff that's happened in our lives personally lately. Um, like we said, not a ton of stuff's happened, but I've definitely noticed that being stuck, not being able to do as much as I usually do, I'm able to call a bunch more people and talk with a bunch more people that I don't usually get to talk with. And it's been really great. I've been on the phone with my little brother over the last couple of days for a total of probably 20 hours. His birthday was on Sunday, and so that's been really good. And I called it this morning. I went on a walk and called a friend. He called me first, actually, but I called him back. And we talked for 2 hours, and we haven't really talked with each other for like a few months now. And before that, almost a few years. So it's good. It's good to be able to be in touch. And they're not the only people I know for sure. I don't know about you, Jacob.
I am definitely grateful for the opportunity that we have with technology. Yeah, it's been interesting how many conversations have sparked because of the quarantine. Um, it's interesting to be able to have the opportunity just to like call somebody up and be like, "Hey, what's up? You know,
Yeah,
what's life? How's life treating you now?" You know,
yeah,
it's definitely sparked a lot of conversations that have really helped me build those relationships that I didn't think were possible, or maybe I should not maybe possible, but just weren't the best relationships. You know.
yeah. It's it's been good. I know for me too, one of the big things that I'm now kind of excited for is because of all this and talking with my friend this morning, I'm in the works of trying to plan a trip back down to visit my friends, and we're gonna go camping this summer because we gotta we gotta do something. And it probably, I don't know if I would have originally made those plans if I hadn't had the time to talk with him and catch up and be like, remember all those good times? Like we gotta go make some more.
Yep. I definitely love our theme for today, relationships. It's
Yeah,
definitely something that we need to continue every day to be better at.
definitely. And they're works in progress, you know. You're gonna have times when they're real crappy and you're gonna get in some fights with people, but that doesn't mean you still can't have a good relationship with people.
Right. And even those fights help you become a better person. So
Oh yeah,
don't don't shy away from them, but don't instigate them either.
that's right. Words to live by. Words to live by.
By Jacob Burrow.
Uh,
Please don't quote me.
everybody, you better quote Jacob on that one. But
Oh,
well, we should probably wrap it up though. But it's been good to talk with you, Jacob.
yeah, been good seeing you again.
And hopefully things will continue to go well. I'm looking forward to the next one of these we got to do, and hopefully everybody else's lives continue to go well as well. But you know, if anybody ever wants us to cover an article or a topic, please let us know below in the comments. And if you got anything else you want to talk to us about or reach out, please do.
Yep. Have a great day.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.